Hi guys and welcome back. In this video I wanted to tell you about the zip function. In the last video we saw this code where we have our friends and how long ago we saw them, and let's say we wanted to create a dictionary of the friend names to the time since we last saw them. We saw how we could add a conditional here if we wanted to filter out friends that we hadn't seen for 5 days or more, but let's say that we don't want to do that. If you want to create a dictionary like this, you actually don't have to run this code. You can run something a bit simpler. If you manage to combine these two lists into one list with this format, where you got a pair of elements as each element of the list, then you can just pass this through the dict function, as we've seen earlier on in the course, in order to get a dictionary. But how do you combine these two lists into something like this? Well, that's where the zip function comes into play. You can do zip, friends and times since seen, and that is essentially going to run a zipper through both of these lists, closing them up and combining them into one list where each element of the new list is a tuple of elements. So that's going to be Rolf and 3, Bob and 7, Jen and 15, and an 11. So you can actually just use this code instead of this list comprehension, and it will be a little bit simpler, just like that. Notice that if we turn this into a list and print it out, you'll see that zip turns them into a list of tuples like this. As an interesting aside, if you just print out the result of calling zip, you won't see something like that. You'll see something a bit more confusing. We're going to be learning more about these things as we go through the course, but for now just know that zip essentially combines two lists or more into one list. I say or more because you can have more lists here if you want. So if we do something like this and turn it into a list, you'll see that now the tuples have 3 elements. Rolf 3, 1, Bob 7, 2, Jen 15, 3, and so on. Do note that this list was longer than these two lists. It has 5 elements instead of 4, but zip will just ignore any elements that don't match the other lists. So you will always end up with something like the shortest list. Thank you for joining me in this video. I hope you've learned something, and I'll see you in the next one.